Hello everyone. Again, as I've said, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. This is Nurse Buddy's 20-minute lunch and learn. So it is very quick. We are launching our brand new 2026 Carer Wellbeing Report, which we're very excited for. Dive straight in. So first off, I'll do some introductions. So my name is Alex. I am part of the marketing team here at Nurse Buddy, and I'm joined by my colleague Rocio, who is part of customer success. So I'm sure is a familiar face to some of you here today. For those of you who aren't familiar with Nurse Buddy, I'll do a quick introduction. So we are a home care software team with Finnish roots. So we have a desktop management software, a carer app, and a family portal, and these are used by customers in Finland, but also used widely across the UK, Ireland, and Europe. And we're designed to take the weight off your shoulders through simple tools that are going to make your day easier, support your team well-being, and help you deliver high quality care. We believe that it takes a village, or a kula in Finnish, so fingers crossed I've got that pronunciation right, to provide top quality care. And that means that we are connecting care organisations like yours, carers and families. So what does that look like in practice? So 97% customer happiness score, which we're really proud of. We have helped deliver over 60 million care hours, and we've also helped to support 35,000 people stay comfortably in their own homes. We put the carer at the heart of everything that we do, which brings us to why we're here today with the Carer Wellbeing Survey, why we have this tool. It is built directly into the Nurse Buddy mobile app. So how does it work? At the end of a shift, carers are prompted with 4 emotive faces to describe their day. So that's ranging from super happy down to super sad. New for this year, they've been able to select predefined reasons as to why their day has been as it has been, and they can then go a step further than that and leave a voluntary text comment as well. The feedback is 100% anonymous, but it means that office teams can then track morale and well-being trends. They can spot carer burnout easily. You can understand the reasons why carers have good or bad days, and hopefully it means that you'll be able to build a supportive, long-lasting culture with that as well. So this is our 3rd annual report analysing this data, and excitingly this year is our biggest yet. So the data that we have covered is from April 2025 through to April 2026, so a full year. And what this looks like is over 151,000 submissions. So that is 151,053 days of carers logging their shifts and telling us whether they've been good or bad. On top of that, we've then got over 188,500 big numbers to spell out, predefined choices. So that can be anything from smooth work day to heavy workload. Then on top of that, the carers have then taken a step further and written us over 7,300 stories. And from those, we've then taken over 7,000 keywords in order to map trends across the whole data set so that we can fully understand the care experience. But really excitingly, as I said, this is our biggest year yet. So this data set is an increase by 121% from last year. So what that tells us is that carers are actively using our survey, but also that they just want to share feedback and communicate with their management team, which is great to see. So when we look at the big picture, this is what we get, which is a really, really positive view of the care sector over the past year. So as you can see, it's 60% very happy, 29% happy, and then 10% sad or very sad, and that was just an even 5% split on both of those. So we are really, really pleased that this is such a positive outlook of the care sector over the last year, and hopefully it'll continue. So first we're going to just dive into the good days. So this is a bit of an overview, first of all. So as we have already said, we have an 89% overall happiness. That is up 3% year on year, which is great. Then 60% super happy days, and that is a 5% year on year increase. So it's showing a great trajectory of care in 2026. And as I say, hopefully we'll see more of that, and we'll have even more good news for our 2027 report next year. But focusing on this year, one of my favourite statistics that have come out of the data that we've gathered is this 93% positive written comments. So out of all the voluntary written comments that carers left us, 93% of those were positive. In the report, we have a really interesting article which dives into more of this, about the science around it, the negativity bias and everything that leads into this. But what it does is it really flips the assumption that we might have of feedback on its head, and shows us that carers just want to celebrate their achievements, their clients, whatever it is that's bringing them joy. And it has been an absolute pleasure for us to be able to read through all those positive comments and really understand the care experience that carers are having today. So then we've got this quick graph here. So as I mentioned, those predefined reasons, which were new for this year, depending on what a carer chose, they would be offered 4 predefined reasons. So for super happy or happy, the options would be smooth workday, personal satisfaction, positive client interactions, or supportive team or management. As you can see, it's a fairly even split across all of them. However, although the support team or management is at the lower end of the scale, what we do see through the comments is how big a difference support can make, and how it just filters into every other element of the job, which we will go into later, and which the report really goes into as well. So now I'm going to hand over to Rocio, who is going to talk through what we found when we mapped the custom comments, so those voluntary text comments, to these predefined reasons to really understand that care experience. And fun fact, Rocio, before joining Nurse Buddy, was actually a carer herself. So she is more than familiar with all the scenarios that we see here. So over to you, Rocio.
Thank you, Alex, and hi everybody. Welcome to this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, let's dig into what makes some of the good days, and we will share some of the most interesting facts that we have gotten from the report. So let's start with personal satisfaction. This is counted for a 30%. In the data that we get from the good days, and we can see here how it's heavily influenced by the weather and so on. And of course, this is very easy to interpret. When weather is nice, we are all in a good mood. We can drive or move from one visit to another one very easily. So makes things better, and you feel better in the end of the day. But also the smooth experience with Nurse Buddy app is something that is really close to us, of course, as a system management, as a management system. And because this is kind of what we are always trying to do with the app, right? To build an app that is easy to use, that is user-friendly, like carers can perform or carry out their tasks easily. So it's great to see these mentions in the what makes a good day. And of course, learning on the job, having this kind of support from trainings, shadowing, this is important, and it have a positive impact in carers. A smooth workday, of course, you can find more information about it in the report, but it's kind of self-explanatory. When everything goes smooth, you also feels good after. Next, we have the supportive team of management. This is, of course, as well self-explanatory. You will find more information in the report, but I know that this is important for everyone in every job, but when it comes to be a carer, it's very essential. So go ahead in the report and look through it. For the positive client interaction, this is very close to me and my heart, because as Alex mentioned, I used to be a carer before joining Nurse Buddy in 2021. And I think that I have always said that being a carer changed my life, not only because I was working in that job in a different country than mine, but because the relationship that you get to build with these people are kind of so pure, so deep. Also, you are with them every day, every single morning, helping them getting dressed, comb their hair, serving their breakfast, making sure they feel well. So it's a very close relationship with your clients. And for me, I am positive to say that it's the best job I ever had. Changed my life, changed what I am, how I see the world, how I see the relationships. So it's not a surprise for me to see that it's 1,092 mentions in this time frame of data that people feels the same, carers feel the same. So it's also important that managers consider this when matching carers with clients, because there are some cues that you can see in the personalities of the carers, of course their skills, that can make a huge difference in these clients and carers interactions. So this is really, really lovely to see. We have a couple of quotes here. It's just so heartwarming to read these kind of things for us, because this also, as Alex was saying before, there is kind of a bias that things are going bad, or there is so this much struggling going around in the care sector where that we know is real, but also there are great things happening. Carers are feeling well after their work shifts, and reading this type of quotes is a reassurance that managers and care companies are doing a great effort in keeping the morale high, and also, of course, making carers feel supported through their days. So yeah, it's just great to hear this type of quotes in the data. So I'm going to hand over back to Alex so she can drive us through the bad days macros. Alex.
Yes, so yeah, that was a really quick snapshot of the positive days. There is way more data and kind of deeper dive analysis into all that, but I think the main thing that we wanted to get across in this webinar is how positive the data and the outlook has been. The fact that it's 89% overall happiness. You know, we can't be 100% perfect. There's always going to be room for improvement, which is where the bad days come in. But we do just want to celebrate how positive the data has been, which is just kudos to all the care organisations out there and all the carers as well. So on to the bad days. As we said, this was 10% of the overall days logged, 5% split between sad and super sad. But one data point that did really stand out was this one, that 76% of carers reporting a lack of team or management support categorise their day as super sad. So as we mentioned for the good days, the impact from team or management is really far greater than I think is sometimes represented in the numbers. So it's important for us to recognise that when a carer doesn't feel supported, it can filter through every element of their day, and it's ultimately resulting in the worst outcome for them with a super sad day. So things like the wellbeing survey and keeping up that communication stuff can really support that, and understanding the reasons behind the bad days, which is what we're going to go into. So again, we've got a quick graph here which shows the predefined reasons. So if a carer was to have chosen a sad or a super sad day, they would have had these 4 options. So unexpected problems, heavy workload, difficult client interactions or family, or lack of team support. So again, it's fairly evenly distributed, but I think when we look at the custom comments that are mapped to these, we can see some really interesting points. So back over to Rocio to go into the deep dive.
Okay, thank you. So in here, yeah, unexpected problems, of course, can ruin people's day. And again, this is not only for carers, can happen in every person's work environment, even someone in the office. but are things that are there. And yeah, I think that the important thing here is to give the tools to the carers to face these unexpected problems in the best way. More information in the report. If we talk about the heavy workload, this is probably something that is, again, not a surprise. And this, I think that it has two extremes, right? When you have a lot of visits in your day, and when you have fewer visits or few visits in your day, we will have both. But for this one specifically is the heavy workload, and we can see how the volume of hours, the fatigue or exhaustion even doubles on sad days versus super sad days. And of course, this is all linked to the rota and the scheduling, which is important in care management system. You will find some tools, including NurseBuddy, where you can see if you are being allocating more visits than the care's availability. There are some flags, percentages that you can see in the scheduling page for in NurseBuddy, for example, that will help you to make sure that the hours, so the visits, are distributed fairly and evenly, and you can help carers to feel like the day is not overpacked, and they can actually drive or move between visits with enough time. They will have time to complete their notes, their task. So yeah, there are tools inside of NurseBuddy and in any other system that should be able to help you with this heavy workload that we know that sometimes sometimes with the shared tasks of staff can be tricky, but can still, it should be something to consider for managers when building the rostering. So a very important factor that is being reflected in sad and super sad days here. Then we have the lack of team or management support. And in here, we have pay issues, feeling supported by peer carers. When we talk about double-handed visits, for example, it's important that managers know their staff, know who works better with whom, what is the kind of type of personality that will allow both of carers perform their job in the best way. Also, we have feeling supported by managers. And then here I want to share a quick experience of mine that I had when I was a carer. Well, I think that in UK and Ireland, we have a very similar weather. So I think that a lot of carers can really share this when you need to go out and work and it's lashing rain or the weather is very bad. I remember one day that I was a carer using public transport. I didn't have a car. So the umbrellas in Ireland doesn't work. It's 5 minutes and they are all gone. So that was my case. I got off from the bus, was lashing rain. I got completely soaked from head to toe. Like water was coming out of my shoes. My trousers were falling down because they were so heavy. I was in an awful shape, like physical state. Like I was like, how someone can work like that? I remember getting to the porch of this lady's house where I have to help her with her breakfast. I called my manager. I told her, look, I can do this visit, but I feel that I need to go back home. I need to change. I am completely wet. I cannot work like that. And she just told me, Rocio, there is no one else to cover for you today. You need to continue with your visits. It was so, I felt so bad, so kind of abandoned, because I understand that clients need carers, but carers also need support. So what I had to do was to complete the visit and complete my 5 next visits completely soaked. I felt kind of humiliated to have to work on those conditions. I wasn't even offered like paying for a taxi for me or someone that drive me between visit and visit. The day, it was raining all day. So I remember some of my clients were offering me like towels, drying my clothes in the radiators, like things like that. I think that can make really a change how you perceive your manager or your management team. So I think that all this kind of lack of support can make it's a deal breaker for some carers. If they don't feel supported, they won't show any like loyalty to you. You will have this kind of high turnover rate. So it's important that you have channels between carers and managers so they can share how they feel, if they have some special needs. So if there is a special situation that they want to share, give the opportunity to carers to talk to you, open those channels, and you will create loyal carers, and they will stay with you and will perform the way that you are expecting. So it's really important. This is very emotional for me because I think that I was there. I know how it feels. So yeah, it's a really good point brought up by carers in here. General emotional sentiment. Again, this all around emotions and things are things that can make your day very bad. So just let's pay attention to those more in the report. And let's go with some quotes here. Some of these are very tough to read. As we have really good and lovely quotes, we also have this type of quotes for what it makes a bad day. On the left-hand side, this one is really touching. And I was talking before about when you are allocating so many visits in a carer that can make a bad day. But also when you allocated so few visits that someone cannot even pay their bills or buy food or support their family, it also a big and a huge issue. So I think that it's important that when managers are moving around visits, of course, clients require the care and the best care possible, but also to think that everything behind a rostering, you have human beings there. So are either being burnt out or are either being short by the end of the month. So I know this is a tricky, like I know managers are doing the best they can with assigning visits, but it's the two extremes of a same problem and can really make for a bad day for carers. So it's an important one. And of course, not being listened by management team, as I said before. This is a couple of things that have come up in the report. So yeah, I hope that you guys have take the time to read the report through, because there are a lot of more information for you there. So back to you again, Alex.
Okay, yeah, we're a couple of minutes over, so thank you very much for staying with us. But that is a wrap on our very short whistle-stop tour, tiny little snippet of the data that we've got in the report. There's so much more to learn from the 151,000 plus submissions. So it is really worth getting your hands on the report and diving into those good and bad days and everything behind it. So head to the link nursebuddy.co/Carer Wellbeing. Get the link in the comments that our colleague Jane has very kindly just popped in there, or scan the QR code to get the report. This is just part one of the report as well. So we have focused on the data side of it. So we have got those good and bad days and the deep dive into that. We've got a fascinating read on the 93% positive comments, plus some expert insights from our partners, and really excitingly, wellbeing benchmark, so you can compare your own company culture against that national data set. So this is part one. It has all the data in it. Part two is going to be coming very soon, and that will contain the tools that will help you spot the gaps in your carer wellbeing and give you the support to help you with that, alongside much more. So hopefully that has given you a little taster of what this data from the past year has shown. But it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege for us to be able to read through it all, get an insight into the care experience, and share that with you all. So please do get the report, and thank you all so much for joining and taking some time out of your day to do a lunch and learn with us.
Thank you, guys.
So have a lovely day, and thank you. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.